Hello and welcome. My name is Jochen Schweitzer and I'm an associate professor at the UTS Business School. In this little video, I want to talk a little bit about business models and how business models matter to startup founders like you. So what's a business model? A business model really is the way you describe your business and the various elements as they work together to deliver a service or a product to a particular group of customers, your customers. And there's some really great tool that's been around for more than 15 years now that we can use in explaining how the different parts of your business can work together to achieve that, delivering value to your customers. So this is the business model canvas as suggested by Osterwalder and Pigneur, and you can find some of these documents for free also on the strategizer.com webpage. So what I'll do now, I'll quickly go through the different elements of the business model canvas and show you how you can use a model like this to really work out which business model might work for you and your startup. So we're starting with customer segments here on the right-hand side. Customer segments is your description of who your customers are. And you want to be quite specific about the characteristics of your customers. This might be a particular age group, but it might not be. It might just be people who have a specific need or have a specific situation in which they might want to use your product or service. In the value proposition box here, you would describe how you provide value to your customer segment specifically, and how you solve a particular problem that your customers have. In the customer relationship box, you describe how you want to interact with your customer segment. How do you want that relationship to look like? So this could be, if you're targeting a mass market, this could be a relationship that's broadly managed through the web page or email exchanges, for example. But if you're in a business where you are serving customers personally, this is a personal relationship, but you might know your customers really well and you have an ongoing relationship that you manage quite intensively to make sure they come and buy again. The box here around channels is about how you're getting your product from where you are to where your customers are. So in an online environment, this might just be the internet, but you might be delivering services or products by actually delivering them to your customers. You need some ways of transporting them other than the internet. So think about what the channels are of how the product gets to your customers, but also how messages get to your customers. What are the channels that you use to interact with your customers? Think about this business model canvas as a way for you to think about different opportunities and options, but also one where you can make decisions as to which channel, which customer relationship is the most suitable in the model that you want to choose. So basically the right-hand side here between the value proposition, customer relationships, channels, and with customer segments determines the outward-facing delivery of value to customers. If you look on the left-hand side of the value proposition, it describes more the inwards-facing or internal processes, activities, and resources that you are using or that you leverage to deliver the value to your customers. So key activities, for example, would be the key processes and things that you do within your organization to provide that service. You might need to produce something, or you might to create something within your organization or your startup. And those might be your key activities. So here you identify what these key activities are and how you're going to go about them. The same way you might be leveraging specific resources. So for some organizations, this is the great talent that they have in their organizations of programmers who can develop the app. Or it might be a great resource in terms of the location that your shop has on the best street in town. So think about resources as the assets that you are in control of, that you can leverage or that you will leverage to deliver value to your customers. The key partners here is a field or a box where we think about the key partners and associates that we leverage to deliver the value to our customers. So for many online businesses, that would be the provision of a payment service, PayPal, for example, or any banking partner that you leverage to manage the payment. You would list them here as a partner. Sometimes you have key technology partners. Think of cloud-based services, for example. Those services or those partners that really enable your product and that you are relying on to deliver what you want to deliver. They appear here because they're really important. They're crucial to the delivery of your services. So like with customers, you really have to establish a good relationship with these partners. It's really hard sometimes to differentiate between suppliers and partners. But think about how difficult it might be to supply to your organization a certain resource. And the harder it is, the more you're probably getting into a partnership kind of level of relationship. Now, looking at the lower part of the model here, we have the cost structure and the revenue streams. Thinking of cost structure really is thinking about key resources and activities and figuring out which of these activities and resources drive the most cost in producing and delivering the product or the service to our customers. So think about cost drivers and list them here, because they will make up most of your cost structure. This could be the people that you employ, their salaries, or it could be the rent that you pay, or it could be your leasing equipment, the manufacturing facilities that you have to set up. Really, what drives cost in your organization? In terms of revenue streams, this is what we also refer to as the revenue generating mechanism or economic logic of your business. Here you make decisions and think about how are we going to make money with this model. So you might be going through a subscription model. You might be selling your products and services at a margin. The opportunities are vast here. Determining what the best revenue stream or best economic logic is for your business model is going to be one of the key tasks of bringing your venture to market. Now, a model like the business model canvas can be used in various ways. One of the most useful ways is to take a model like this and analyze an existing model, an existing business. You can use this model and map any business that you can find and identify these key 9 elements that make up the structure and the genetics, if you like, of that organization. And from doing it in an analytical way, you can really learn a lot about how businesses work. You can depict any organization, including your competition. The other way that you can use a business model canvas is to use it strategically. So you use it to really anticipate or test and validate how you could create a model that will work in the marketplace. We talk of this as finding a market fit or a business model fit. The key idea here really is that you're starting to experiment as you develop your startup with different options. You're checking different channels and you figure out which channel is the most efficient or the most best performing channel in reaching my customers. You can also think about different ways of managing that customer relationship, testing various options over time, and then figuring out what the best, most efficient and most suitable option would be. The same applies to revenue streams. You might go with a subscription model in the first stage, but you then figure out that maybe a freemium model is a better way to go. These models change and they evolve over time. A business model canvas like this gives you a bit of a playing field, an understanding of how you can make variations in your business model and then go through the lean startup methodology with build, measure, learn, and figure out which ones work best. This way you can develop your model over time into one that really works. So that was a little introduction to what business models are and the introduction to the business model canvas as a great tool to do this kind of work. If you want to learn more about this, I really recommend you look at the Business Model Canvas Generation book by Osterwalder and Pigneur, and you'll find lots of resources online that help you in doing that. So this was a little introduction into business models and how you can make them work using something like the Business Model Canvas for your startup. I hope you enjoyed this. There's a lot of resources that you can use to learn more about business model generation and using the Business Model Canvas. We'll post some of those options here in the post, and hope to see you soon.